please go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Nabi will help you.
Yeah. I'll be sharing the screen. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for having me here, and thank you, Sako, and other team members and community members who are like helping in organizing this summit today. So today I'll be speaking about the building open source developer tool. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tokir Nasir, and I'm from Pakistan, and currently I'm in UAE, and I'm working in the tradelink.com. So at the tradelink.com, we are building a B2B e-commerce platform for the MENA region. And I've done my a BScs, computer science degree from the GC University Faisalabad. So this is pretty much about me. So what is the agenda of this talk? So first of all, I would like to explain a few of the questions, like why should you contribute? I'll try to motivate you. And then where and how you can start, the very first step that is needed to be into the open source community. And then I'll talk about a dev tool that I'm working on for quite a few weeks. And I'll also share some future plans for the dev tool. And I will also explain how you can contribute to this if you are willing to. And then we'll have a question and answer session. So first of all, why should you contribute to open source? So it helps you in many ways. So first of all, it helps you in improving your personal skills, your coding skills, your contribution skills, your the skills that need you to be the best among the other community members. So how does it helps you in improving your coding skill is when you contribute to a project, you create a PR, or you review a PR, it helps you learn so many things. Because if you want to increase or the quality of your code, you need to be writing more code. You need to practice it, and and if you want to have the best quality, you need to increase the quantity of the code you write in your daytime, on your daily routine or in your weekly routines. It also helps you in learning, in gaining the experience. As Elshad explained that for the students and for new joiners, when you apply for the internships, what you need to have is some early experience, because companies prefer those who have a bit of early experience in the field. Because they will not have to start from the scratch for that particular intern who is getting started with the team. So it also helps you in increasing the community and peer recognition, which helps you in building the network with the best developers or the people who are out there building great stuff. It also helps you in landing the great and the better jobs for you. It helps you in building the great community, and once you are into the community, that community can reach you and offer you a better job. It also helps you improve this software as a user and as a business level. When you're working in a software company and you want to improve the way a software is developed, and you want to learn the business side of that, and it will help you learn in a very easy way. So what is the very first step that you need to take in order to contribute into an open source? So the first step is always very difficult, because you are empty-minded. You do not know where to start, how to start that. So always start from something that is very small in the beginning. You can go to any project, open source project on the GitHub, and what you can do is you can read the documentation just to learn what it is. And if you find that the documentation has any kind of typos or any small errors, or maybe it's missing some example or something like that, you can just create a PR for that. And it will help you to be more passionate about contributing to the open source projects. And what you can do is also you can find and fix the small issues that are being reported by some other people, or maybe it's something that you find. So there is a way that allows you to like go and start coding and fix the small issues that are very easy to pick. So I'll demonstrate that for, let me go to, so there is a website that is goodfirstissue.dev, which lists all the open source projects from the GitHub. So what it does, it lists some of the issues that are labeled as good first issues. So when we go to like we click on this, anyways, you can like go and select the language of your choice. Just to like if you are a JavaScript developer, then you can just go and click on this label, and it will like uh, load all the projects that are being developed in JavaScript. So then you have this tab here, which is like it has 10 issues. When you click on this, it will list all those issues that are labeled as good first issues. So what are the good first issues? They are easy to pick for the beginners. Okay, so when you go there, you can just read this, and after reading this, you can understand, and you may try to like solve this on your own, and it will help you to contribute to this project to solve this particular issue. So this is something that was like missing in the Elshad session. Like I thought I should like explain this a bit so that you know where you need where you can go and start that. So I hope this will help so many newcomers, new joiners to like contribute into the open source. So you can also the contribution is not only writing code or like improving the documentation or stuff like that. Even if you have a feature request, or even if you have a feedback about the project or the open source project, you can just go and like create an issue and just provide your feedback. So what it does, it helps the open source maintainers to learn about the like how the end user thinks about our product and either they are doing the right thing or not. So it helps them improve the experience of that particular software or like whatever it is. And also what you can do, if you like, if you are not technical guy and you have some kind of idea that can like help building an open source software, or if it can help us like or any open source project to add new features, you can just go and just explain your ideas on the to the developers who are maintaining that, and it will help them like like learning more about what you want, and then they can think about it and they can like implement that idea if they think it's worth giving a shot. So for everybody who is here and new, you can join us, the Coop community, and which is like very like helpful. I met Sago in the last session with the Kamran Ahmed, the roadmap guy, if you don't know. So and then we just had a like quick call after the session, and I was really excited to be the part of this Coop community. And then Sago invited me to like give a talk on the dev tool you are working on. So if you think that you have the passion to be one of us, to be one of the open source community member, you can just join us. And if you think that you need any kind of help, if you have any idea you want to like share with us and you want some help in that, we can like help you in any way so that you follow the right path. So now
I just want to one point mention. Thank you, Malik, for joining the Go team. It's really the question. First time he asked it like there was 5 points, and then he came with 5-point answers, and then asked me, Sako or community, do you have anything more? I said, man, in past year I never have seen single question like ask that, and I want people like you just join us and maintain, contribute, and be member. Thank you so much being for us. Amazing, Malik.
It's an honor. It's an honor for me. Thank you so much. So, okay. So I've been working on a dev tool, which I think can improve the developer experience for the backend engineers. So let's have a look at this. And I call it TSST, which is the Swagger Schema Generator. So it actually helps you to write the very short and concise and easy to understand syntax, and which can be transformed into the open API specifications, definitions, and or if either in a JSON format or in a YAML format, whatever you need. So why I started like working on TSSG is we deal a lot with the Swagger at our work. So we need to like, whenever we started working on any API, we just document that in the like in the Swagger specification, so that we could like, so let me explain a bit how do we do that in our current company. So let's say if I'm going to like create an API, so first of all, we just think of how it's going to like accept the user data, and then it responds to that. So we write the Swagger definition for that. And from the Swagger definition, we generate the typings. And once we have the typings, we just go into the code and we write the API, and it helps us like to write the more predictable code. And it also helps us in a good and restrictive type hinting, so that we don't miss anything and produce uncertain results that we are not expecting. So once that's done, we generate the SDK out of the Swagger definition. And then once we have the SDK, we use that in our front-end applications and use that, and it works very like easy. So at the very first part, we deal with the Swagger manually. We need to write the Swagger file. Like if I want to write a component schema, what we do that, like we go to the Swagger file, and believe me, our one module have like more than 10,000 line of like Swagger definition file. So just imagine if you deal with such kind of big file, which has a lot of lines, a lot of blocks in that, and you just need to like add one more like say path definition. Okay, so like so what you need to do is you need to copy and paste that, and you need to be very careful, like either you are whatever you are writing, and you most of the time what you do is you repeat yourself. So let me tell you how the Swagger does that. Basically, if anyone who doesn't know about Swagger, it is an API development tool for the backend engineers or for the companies, you can say. So what it does, it provides you a specification which is called the Open API specification, and they have a set of rules to define the structure of the file, which helps you to generate the SDKs, generate the typings, generate the documentation of your APIs for your like clients, or for your own like private you can say it a private SDKs for your own use. So they provide you many like tools like Swagger Editor, Swagger UI, and CodeGen to like create these hubs and client libraries for that. But there is and there is no easy way, and which allows you to write and extend the, or maybe to split your schemas, your paths, of course, into separate files, so that you can maintain that easily. So then I started looking for the tools which may help us do that thing, like to write less and get more out of that. But unfortunately, I couldn't find anything useful. One project that was that I found on the GitHub was TinySpec, but that was similar to this what we do in the Swagger, but it offers a new specification, which was not like something that I was interested in. So then I thought I should, like, if I can't find anything, I should start like working on my own tool, which will help me. At first, I started it from myself because it was my problem and I was facing that problem. So I thought I can like work on a quick tool, which is going to basically a tool which will help me, which will ask me some questions and I will just answer them, and it will add that schema or path or whatever it is to the Swagger automatically. Then I thought, if me as a backend developer is having or facing this kind of issue, maybe there are some other people out there in the world who are like working out and dealing with this Swagger are facing some this similar problem, like writing all the Swagger definitions manually, and there is no like you can say easy way where they can maintain and manage their files. So then out of the curiosity, I built something like this, which is a very simple interface, which provides you with the left editor, and then there is a right for the preview, and you just write the syntax here. So I'll go back to slides because I may miss something. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. I'll maximize it. So this is how the TSST syntax looks like. Like you just pass the object, and then you know the name and email and age and address, and you just mention the types, and then it transforms that to this syntax on the right. So just look at this. Like you just wrote 6 or like 7 lines of code, and you have already got like 20 lines of code out of it. And you don't need to repeat yourself, like writing all these types and opening and closing brackets and all those stuffs, which really is cumbersome, and it's a time wasting task. Like you are repeating yourself over and over again. So back to the demo, which is I'm calling TSST Editor. Here, this current POC is only like allowing you to work with the object schemas as of now. You cannot like create a fully qualified path or like definition, endpoint definition here, but it will only help you to generate the object schema as of now. But once because it's an alpha version, in the next version we'll have a way to write the fully qualified schemas, request bodies, parameters, and the paths. So let's say you have an object that is like a user object. So you have a name property like in that, and you want it to be a string. Okay, so this name property of type string looks like this in a like Swagger definition. Okay, so then you have, let's say we have like we want a user can have an age property of type number. You just type that, and it can have an address, and that address can have a city of type string, and then a country of type string. So look, this is what it produced. You can just go and simply copy that and paste to your file manually. So if you want to mark this name property as required, what I proposed is to put the exclamation mark here, and it will automatically add that to the required properties. So you don't have to like repeat yourself, like telling explicitly and writing that in the array that the name property is required. And if similarly, if you want this whole object to be required, just go and put the mark, and it will add that to, and it will add that to a required field. So it will enforce that you will have that address field whenever the schema is returned. So similarly, you can just go, and also if you want that country field to be required within that, so you can just do that, and it automatically add that. So it is like you can like nest as many objects into it, and it will work out of the box, and you don't need to worry about like where and how the block is ending, and where you need to put that. So I have also added some examples so that it is easier for the person who visits this and is going like wants to try that tool. So what you can do is you can just go in a simple schema, and this is a very simple schema of a user. So look, you just wrote 8 lines, and you got, I don't know how many lines are these. So this is what I try to solve myself. And believe me and some of the colleagues at my office are using this tool, and we are like saving at least like 5 minutes. We deal with this Swagger object schemas. So even if these are the 5 minutes, then if just imagine if you deal with the Swagger file a lot in a day. So it will save you a lot of time in that case. Okay, so we also added some guide, which is like a walkthrough and like a tutorial, like how the things are and how you can use them. So there are some like examples for the mix or array data types. So look at this. You can have the array of objects if this was the schema of like a user, so you can have an array of users like this. You put an array and you pass an object, and then you just write the values, and look, this 13th line of code produced this much of like outputs, and you just need to just copy that and paste it to your like file, and it will like save you a time. And I hope you want to try this tool at your convenience. So let's get back to the slides. We have some future plans for this TSST. So the POC that I showed you is the online editor that is on the left, okay, here. So this online editor will help you to generate the definitions without you installing the TSST into your projects, okay? Because we are going to have a version where we are going to have a complete CLI and a project editor, which will allow you to install the TSST into your projects, which will allow you to deal with the Swagger through this TSST syntax, and it will help you to code split your schemas and paths and request bodies, or maybe if you want to like modularize it in like a way where you want to have a module for the only users, so you will have only the users schemas, endpoint and stuff like that in the definition. And once it's done, it will automatically generate the Swagger schema out of it, and you can then use that, and it will help you to like manage your all the schema definitions without worrying about like dealing with that thousands lines of code of a Swagger JSON. So I hope there are some chats going on. Let me see if I have any question, because I was too quick.
I think Elvin has a question. That if
yes,
please.
Okay, so it's like SSG is fully compatible with OS 3.0. Yes, we are just trying it. This was just a POC. So the TSSG will be like offering all the compatibility with the 3.0 OS 3. Excuse me. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, okay, cool. So there is a question, what about YAML support? Yes, we will be adding the YAML support like in a few weeks. We're working on that. But before that, we're working on the next version of the syntax that I'll cover in the slides. So just bear with me and I'll explain each and everything. Okay, so I'll just move forward. This is how the TSST CLI is going to look like, and which is going to help you deal with the Swagger without even touching the Swagger file. So you can just see at this syntax TSST gen schema v1 user. So let's say if you want to like generate a schema of a user of a version 1. So if you do it manually, like going to the Swagger file, you just go to the Swagger file, you just add that manually. Like you need to be explicit about all the things. But here, when you will type the TSST gen schema v1 user, it will open the editor for you, the built-in editor that you have set for your CLI editor. Either you can set the micro, or you can set the Vim, or anything that you like at your convenience and you love to work with. So I personally use Vim. So this will open the Vim for me. Okay, so then you can just go and write the TSST syntax, and you just hit the save, and you just exit the file, and it will automatically save that schema to your Swagger JSON file. And if you want to edit that, it will just pull the existing V1 user into the editor. It will show you the schema, and then you just make changes, and it will replace that V1 user schema if you want to edit that. Similarly, if you want to generate the paths, you will be able to generate the paths like this. Like if you want to generate a get user path, which is like maybe it can be get user by ID. So you just enter this, and it will like ask you some questions, or it will open the editor for you, and you can just provide this TSST syntax, and it will save that for you. So the next version of syntax is going to be looking like something like this. So you will have a schema block and request body block, and inside that you can put your schemas, and even you will be able to like extend the existing schemas. Like look, if we have the V1 user schema which has the name and age, and then you want a V1 employee which extends the V1 user, and you want those two properties of the user inside this V1 employee, and you want to have the two more properties, salary and department, for that employee, you can just use that, and it will automatically transform that to Swagger without like you writing or repeating yourself. So this is how the request body is going to look like. You will have a request bodies block where you can have like these request bodies, and it will allow you to like write in a very descriptive way, and it's something that is similar to the TypeScript typings. So I actually took the idea from a bit of GraphQL and TypeScript and merged both so that it is familiar for other people and it is easy to understand. So all this syntax is for like you just need to write less, and it's very easy for you to like guess what this all a schema about. Like imagine if you go and you look at this kind of file, okay, so which has this v1 get user schema, okay, sorry, path definition. So understanding this takes you kind of time. Like you just gonna look at this and you can like maybe you will read it and like spend some time to like learn what does it actually do. So in this case, it is going to look like this. For the paths, you will have a definition for the path like v1 get user, and then you will have the this is like the draft proposal. I'm working on it and it's still in process. So you just pass the tag here, so the global tag like what this and you the endpoint belongs to. So then you just pass this new block, which is like a post, which is the type of the request or method of the request, and you just pass a description. You just refer to the existing, I'm sorry, you just refer to the existing schemas like this, like add request bodies dot v1 get user, and it will automatically fill that for you. Or if you don't want to fill that, you want to mention that like with the shop, that's the way it is done like this in the schemas. You have a ref. I don't have any example, but excuse me. So this is how it is going to like help you to narrow down all the things, and this is how it is going to like allow you to add the responses like of type 200 to 400, and you just need to write very less, and it will give you a fully qualified open API spec definition. So this is like a very initial draft which I am working on, and I really need help from the community, like people like you who are using Swagger in daily life. And if you are like willing to contribute to this so that I could make this syntax as easy as possible so that it is adoptable by the community and the other developers, so it will be a great help for me, because this is the most difficult part among all these like editor CLI stuff, because this is something that has all the like you can say it's the base for this whole TSST. So I really want you like help in further like making this syntax better. So that's why I showed for this talk, and I thought it would be a great so that I could like share whatever I have as of now, so that I could get some contribution for some of the great people like you, so that I could make it more better, make it more easy for people to adopt it, and so that everyone uses it at their convenience. So I think we have some more questions. And any reason why TSST should not be the next official Swagger specification? Well, I don't have very a good answer for this as of now, but I'm really working very hard on this, and I'm working on the parser right now, which parses the syntax and generates the AST. And once we have the AST, we can do whatever we want. So all I want is to have a better way to write the JSON files. Like I personally hate writing JSON files, because you need to be more explicit, and you can't have even comments in there. You can't have an extra comma even. So this is very restrictive for people, lazy people like me. So I really hate working manually with the JSON files. So that's why I tried to work on my own tool, so that I could increase my own productivity. So then once I thought it's something that I'm facing, maybe there are people out there who are facing the same challenge. So I thought to make it open source, so that I could get some contributions as well, and we make it the next I can make it the next open API spec, maybe a tool that is that is officially works with specification for the Swagger. So I'm just looking forward to it. Let's see how it goes. So putting your okay. So how you can contribute. So before I just tell you how you can contribute, I'll just would like to take a deeper dive, so that I explain you how is everything is being done under the hood, so that you understand better. So under the hood, this is the base which allows all these three upper modules to work. So there are two things. One is the parser and one is the transformer. Okay, so the parser, it allows you to pass the TSST syntax and creates the abstract syntax tree. Okay, so once you have the abstract syntax tree, you can just traverse that. You can write the transformer that for anything. Like you have a structured data, which is more meaningful than the raw TSST syntax, then you can just generate any output out of it. So this is basically a two-stage process. So in the first stage, what happens is you pass the input, which is the TSST syntax, to the parser, which is a TSST parser. What it does, it analyzes the syntax and generates the AST. And for those who don't know what the AST is, it is abstract syntax tree, which is a very meaningful and structured data for the which complies with the the set of rules that you have defined in the parser. So you have a tree with nodes and leaves. So once you have that tree, you have the structured data, a meaningful data. So what you can do is you can just traverse that data. In the second stage, you pass that to a transformer, and that transformer just transforms to the open API specification. Okay, so let's dive deeper. So the parser.
Emin asked a question about is there any lexical analysis stage in TSST?
Okay. I'll get there. I'll get there in this particular slide.
Okay.
Just a minute. I'll cover that. Okay. So the parser, I had so many choices where I could go with the regular expressions. Either I could have gone with the CFG, which is called the context-free grammar, or there was one more option, which is PEG, which is also called parsing expression grammar. So I had to make a decision for that, which is going to suit me better for this kind of syntax and this kind of project. So I spent a lot of time figuring out and experimenting with the regular expression, then the CFG, and then PEG. And the PEG won my heart in that case. So I'll explain why regular expressions and CFG is not the good thing for this kind of parser. Regular expressions are very like limited to what they can. Like it offers you less abilities than the CFG and PEG because they do not allow you to backtrack. They do not know what is behind, like the token that was behind you. It only allows you to look ahead, but it doesn't allow you to look behind. So maybe in the future, in future version of JavaScript, we'll be having the look behinds as well, which will allow the regular expressions to like parse the complex structures. But for that particular reason, I couldn't agree with the the decision. I couldn't make a decision to go with the regular expression, and it was very difficult for us to parse that line by line and then generate the AST for that. So then comes the CFG, which is context-free grammar. So context-free grammar is very vast and very flexible in that case. Like it allows you to almost achieve any achieve any kind of syntax parsing, but when actually both the PEG and the CFG are doing the same thing. But this CFG is not the the most predictable. It is unpredictable because in CFG you can have one parse successful parsing for two parts for one kind of syntax. Like you can have two trees, like two subtrees of one syntax. So in the PEG, which is more predictable, and what it does, it just takes the first input or the first successful parse result, and it just returns that as a node. So that decision, it was very tempting and ambiguous for me to go with the CFG, because it was putting so many roadblocks for me, because I was also new into the CFG and all these things. But then when I tried the PEG, and the PEG was more good and easy to use for me. So what I did, I just created a simple parser out of it, and I just started playing with it. But for the POC, I didn't have any time. I wanted to have a proof of concept, either my idea is going to work. So what I did is I just used the AST of JavaScript. So because the only part that I was having trouble with the object schemas, so what I did, I used the ES Prima, and I just generated the AST out of that. And then I used that, and I written a transformer, and that transformer helped me to generate the OpenAPI spec. Okay, so but now I have started working on the PEG, and this initial version is capable of I don't have a time or a proper setup for the demo. So I may be doing that kind of sessions in near future with some of my colleagues who are helping me in this project, and maybe someone who from now on is willing to participate or to contribute into this project. I'll be very happy to have you in that session, so that I could explain how these things works at the lower level. So now the reason I switched from JavaScript AST parser to my own from the scratch is because the JavaScript AST is very limited for me to propose the new syntax, because it doesn't have a block kind of syntax into it. It only supports the object, and we can only pass the object syntax. If we try to pass the let me quickly show you as well. There is a website which is astexplorer.net, which helps you with let's a is equal to 10. So what it does is it allows you to look at this AST, and you can make decisions on the values of these nodes. So look at this. We have a variable declaration, and this program generated this AST. So this AST, it starts from this, which is a program which has a body, and the body is going to have multiple kind of declarations, either it's a if statement or a switch statement or whatever it is that JavaScript supports. So then it starts with the variable declaration, and then you have the declarations, and there is a declarator, which is the identifier A, which has the initial value that is the literal, and which is the 10 value. So what you do is you can like build this kind of ASTs, and these ASTs, you can just see it starts from one node and it goes like they're nested into it. So what you can do is you can just write a simple reducer for them, and that reducer is going to like help you recursively use the same reducer and make like use of small processors that process the very specific node, like a variable node or for a function call node, and then they generate the specific output of your need. So this AST can be transformed into any other format of your choice. Like it can be transformed into a simple JSON. It can be transformed into an OpenAPI spec. It can be transformed into even a Mongoose model for you, so that it is like very helpful for you to generate the Mongoose model out of the syntaxes that you write, and you just don't need to repeat yourself. But currently at our company, what we do is we write the Swagger schema separately, then we generate the typings, and then we write the Mongoose because we're using MongoDB, so we write the Mongoose model ourselves. So this is what like I'm trying to solve. Like, don't repeat yourself. If you have written something that's already been written, then why do you want to repeat yourself again and again and waste time over that? So I have that plan that once we are done with this basic workflow, I'll be having like more transformer, which will allow you to transform to other like ODM and ORMs as well, which will be very helpful for like people like developers to save a huge amount of time. Like they will not need to repeat their like steps again and again for the same thing. So look at this. Once I just passed the object name, my bad, string, and then we have age of like type number. So just look at this AST. So this is what I used for the very current version of the TSST editor. For this, I'm using ES Prima, which is here, loaded here, ES Prima. You can see the name. Even you can use other like AST parsers for this ES 7 or 6 versions, but I'm using the ES Prima version. So what it does, it takes the input like this, and then it generates the AST like this. And once you have the AST, you just write that like transformer, and you just output that. So let me go over quickly to the TSST. So TSST is nothing but a set of processors. So inside the parser, we'll have the SST parser. So just look at this. I hope you can see my screen. It's very like, so I'll just.
I'm so sorry, Malik. The timing is going so.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up. Like it's my like last slide, so I'm finishing up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So look at this. I have written some processors which deal with a very specific set of node, like a unary expression, an object expression, an array expression, and then we have some validations inside, and then we have a call expression. And this is the main reducer, which recursively calls itself inside these processors, and it generates the nested output out of the box. And we don't need to repeat ourselves. So, but the problem is now for this kind of syntax, the computer is slow. Okay, so for this kind of syntax, this AST parser, ES Prima, or other JavaScript parser doesn't support this kind of syntax. So we do not have a meaningful AST like for this kind of structure. So that's why I'm working on very own version of this kind of syntax, so that we have a very specific version of AST which only deals with this structure, this kind of syntax. So we have the meaningful data, and once we have that, we can just do whatever we want. So on the other hand, I described the transfer, and then what is PEG? Let me explain a bit. peg is just a syntax, like a set of rules, which allows you to like write the rules for your syntax. Like you want a blog, and then that blog can only have the post, and that allows you to have other constructs, language constructs. So this is pretty much it. And for the transformer, which is, I'll explain, is a simple reducer which recursively calls itself, and it makes use of some node processors and then just generates the desired output of that AST parser. So this is pretty much it for this project. So I really hope you will try this TSST editor whenever like you are dealing with your Swagger files, and if you think that it is going to help you in a long run, and if you think that this is something that can change the way you work and deal with the Swagger and all this stuff, just help me so that I could make this syntax more better, more compact, more easy to adopt for everyone. And there are so many things going on right now because we're working on the CLI part, and I don't have enough time. Otherwise, I could have like gone through the 6 command line, which will allow you to have this kind of way. So you just, it will ask you so many questions. I was quickly get user. So it will ask you some other question, like if it is going to be a post or a get method, I will say it's a post, and then you just add the tag, and you just add get user by ID and skip it. Yes, I want to add the response. So it will ask me like, what kind of response do you want to add? And you say it's 200, and you just write the description. Let's say it's return a user, and then you just enter it, and it will open the editor of your choice. So once you have that, you are able to enter the TSST syntax inside it. So let's say you want to return only the name, which is string of type string. Okay, so just exit. Once you exit it, it receives your data. And if you want to add more responses like the 400 and 404, you can do that. Otherwise, I'll skip that for the, like, I don't have time. So, and then it will ask you, do you want to like add a request body? Because if you are going to like accept the ID so that you could return that user, so you'll say yes, and we'll proceed with the same editor. And then we will add that I need the ID, which is required. So that's why I've put the exclamation mark in front of the type. So once you have that, it will be generated for you, the get user.
Thank you, Malik. Good.
So this is pretty much it. So, if you have any questions, just write down into the board, or maybe if you have any kind of like further questions, or you are interested into it, you can just go and you can start that repo, and you can also create some issues and or maybe feature requests as well. And you can also join this community so that we could work on this together. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Malik. Thank you.
Thank you, Malik. And just, I have the quick note. So Malik is in the Coop Community channel. Please feel free to come if you are interested. Even Malik, I'm trying to convince him to be as a maintainer for the Coop and create a channel for this project, and you can join him. And it's free mentorship. I mean, engineers like Malik, I mean, you have to pay to get to be in the team and to learn from these people. So I definitely encourage you, engage you to be in the Slack and let in community channel, let him know. And
I will be the contributor on your TSST Editor project.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, so definitely there'll be follow-up. It's just overview for the Malik's project. It started like, it went public 1 week or 2 weeks ago. So definitely it's one of the things, if you're using Swagger, let's take and use it or not, just for learning and guidance and stuff. I definitely encourage you to join Malik. Thank you so much, Malik. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a fun, guys.
Yeah. And